All right. Welcome, kings and queens. Today we are talking The Real Housewives of New Jersey, episode 5. This episode was kind of boring to me. I'm sorry to say that. It just didn't give what it was supposed to give. And there's just too many women on the show, in my opinion. There's too many women. I understand the need to mix up the dynamics and diversify and add a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But y'all are going to have to trim this down because I can't keep up with all the names, all of the houses, all of the husbands, all of the kids. It's just too much. Bravo. You're overstimulating me that I can't really focus because I'm trying to say, now, which one is this one? Oh, okay. And this is the one that, yeah, it's too many women. I think it fell short. I think when you have an episode where a little girl's party is the most exciting scene, yeah, we gotta figure out where to go from here. And here's where I don't want to go. I don't want to hear Melissa and Joe Gorga talk about Teresa anymore. I mean, it's like, it's enough already. You've done it for years. It's enough already. I don't want to hear Margaret's big mouth over talking and yelling at Jennifer at every encounter, every luncheon, every dinner. We get it. You don't like her. You're out for her. We get it. We get it. We get it. So I'm going to need the producers to step it up with this. Melissa, stop it. Okay? Your daughter doesn't want to hear about your issues with her auntie Teresa. That child wants to be a child and have a good time. She wants to enjoy her iced coffee. She doesn't want to be utilized for your scenes and your problems and your issues. So stop. On one hand, you're saying, hey, listen, don't talk about, I don't want her confessional. On one hand, in her confessional, she's saying, I don't think it's fair to bring the kids into this. But on the other hand, subliminally, you're telling her that family is everything. And if she ever has to choose, then to choose her brother. Siblings are everything. Stay together. Okay, we get it. But you're saying it for the wrong reasons, sweetheart. Your agenda is all wrong. Okay? And I understand that family is everything. I get what you're saying there. Just don't couple or compile it with you and Teresa's issues. For those of you who are just tuned in, or if you're new to the channel, welcome. I am Queen Shiba. I cover a variety of hot topics specific to reality television. But most importantly, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience. But check this out. I'm going to skip around. I have to call this out. So at the end, they're teeing us up for next episode, and they're showing the charity baseball game, which I think is going to be a lot of fun, right? I just love it when these housewives are able to do things outside of themselves. It says a lot about the connectedness to the community, and I think Dolores has done a lot for the community, but they tee us up for the next episode. Why is Frank whining like a baby regarding he and Dolores's disconnect now that she has a man? I'm asking this for a reason because I was under the impression that y'all were just friends, but your tears say otherwise. You have a woman, a real young one at that. Okay? So why are you crying for Dolores? I'm missing something. Dolores, were y'all intimate? Even though y'all were apart, why is Frank crying and breaking down like this emotionally? I don't understand. Typically, men like Frank, they mistreat women like Dolores throughout the marriage. She's been more than kind to allow you to cohabitate, which is different and unique in and of itself. You go out, you get your young, hot blonde. Okay, we get it. But you're still not happy and you're still craving for Dolores. I need somebody to break that down and make it make sense to me, because it makes absolutely no sense at all. And I'm going to take it a step further. If I were your girlfriend and if I saw you behaving like that on national television, oh, hell no. this would be the end. Because what you're not going to do, Mr. Frank, is embarrass me in front of my friends and my family members and my coworkers. Get somebody else to do it. But it wouldn't be me and my self-esteem. No, sir. No way. I also want to talk about another B-roll that they showed us highlighting next week's episode. And we see Teresa sitting in an office with her therapist. And she's saying, she's very emotional. She says a part of her reason for setting boundaries and being extremely hesitant to connect with her brother and have the deep conversations they need to is because he has a temper. Pause on that. I want y'all to really hear this. A woman is saying, I'm afraid to connect with him because he's explosive and he tends to rage. Okay? What that tells me is Joe Gorga uses his muscles to intimidate people and to shut them down. Okay, and I don't like that. And because of that, I don't believe when people say I'm hesitant to interact with someone, especially a woman. I don't think we should push them to, whether you're a therapist or not. People have boundaries for a reason. That's almost your safety meter. So I'm going to be looking at that therapist sideways if she pushes and presses Teresa to have a conversation that she's not really ready to have yet. In order to have a productive conversation with anyone, you have to feel safe and or confident. And if that is missing, I'm not sure it would be a great idea for her to walk into that dynamic. I'm going to be watching, Miss Therapist, to hear what you have to say and how you coach her or guide her into this scenario. I really like the way Teresa is showing up this season. This lady is winning me over this season with her vulnerability. I never thought I would say that. There's been times that I could not stand Teresa Giudice, okay? For those of you that think that I have no historical context regarding her relationship with Melissa and Joe, I've been watching this for years, but I'm going to encourage y'all, like I have to tell myself, remain in the moment, remain in what's happening this season, right? Sometimes we hold shit against people from years and years and years. And if we're doing that with reality stars, I can only imagine how y'all treat your family, your friends and your loved ones. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Yeah. So this season is a very positive season. I feel like Teresa's off to a great start. And there's nothing more beautiful than a bad bitch who is able to transform herself in the most beautiful manner. And I think Teresa is doing that. She should do that. Off topic for just a second. Listen, initially when Teresa had a scene walking into the dress store to pick out her wedding dress, I thought Melania was Gia when she walked into the wedding dress store with her mother. If Melania were to dye her hair the exact same color as Gia, y'all, they would look like twins or come very close to it. Those girls are absolutely stunning. They are gorgeous. And Teresa, let me tell you this. If you get tired of this and finagling with these women that are itching for a scratch, honey, pitch yourself and your family to Bravo. You have enough, you and your girls, where they can follow Gia around. She's old enough. She's a woman that's 21 and over, where they can follow her and her life with the cameras. They can highlight all of you as a blended family, and then they can zoom in on you and Louie. So if you decide you've had enough, I would pitch me and my family to Bravo. Okay, so I'm moving on, having a cup of coffee, really enjoying this review, and I hope you all are too. Please check in the chat. What are your thoughts so far about Teresa, her family, how Teresa's showing up this season? Also, the girls, did you think, did anybody else mistake Melania for Gia? Let's move on. Whose bright idea was it for Melissa and Jennifer to get together? I'm curious because Melissa has sat around everyone in this group that has dogged Jennifer out. Okay? Now, I understand moving forward and allowing bygones to be bygones, but that does not appear to be Melissa's agenda to move forward genuinely with Jennifer. Before I get to that, I really liked Jennifer is smart, y'all. I'm telling you, this woman is very smart, very clever, and sharp in her combats. She understands the assignment when it comes to the art of war. She attacked Melissa from the side when she told Melissa, well, basically she came at her like, don't get it twisted. Just like shit about me, I know shit about you. And then she slid in a bit of gossip on camera, letting us know that letting us know that Margaret has been coaching and or enticing Melissa to leave Joe and to go after a younger, hot, physically fit athlete ball player. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Thank you, Jennifer. We appreciate that. And she did it in such a clever way where it did not come off as being antagonistic. And that was all by design because it was antagonistic. And that's how you show up and do reality television. Initially, Jennifer was a hard pill to swallow for me her first couple of seasons because her temper was so out of control. I didn't feel like she was in balance. Now she's getting it. But I think Melissa is messy. And I kind of felt like at one point she was attempting to produce and to get all of the women to talk about their junk. But we don't know anything about yours, girl, because you shut it down when people bring up you and Joe. How come you shut it down really quickly when Jennifer brought up Margaret wanting you to leave Joe and get you a different kind of man? Because we know, yes, Margaret is a whip it girl. Let's whip it, baby. Hey, let's whip it right. Let's whip it, baby. Let's whip it all night. So Margaret is for it. Margaret is about that life. And I'm pretty sure Margaret would slide you a side dude rather quickly. But we don't know anything about that. We don't know any reason other than that. When they roll the tapes of you and Joe on the bus, we want to know the details of what's going on between you and Joe behind closed doors. Let's talk about that. That sounds a bit more interesting to me than you meddling in other people's business, including your sister-in-law's. Okay? So you go to lunch with Jennifer and you guys talk. There's a meeting of the minds. You touch and you agree. And Jennifer walks away thinking she's good with you. But yet you turn around and you talk about her behind her back with the other group of women. I understand why Teresa wants nothing to do with you. I understand. And then you ask Margaret and Jennifer at the party, at the little girl's party, Valentina's party, what's the issue? And you feign surprise as if, gosh, how did we get here? Girl, stop, because you are stirring the pot. Stop playing with us. You introduced that monkey wrench into the dynamic, okay, Melissa? You told Margaret that Jennifer was trying to turn you against her. I think it's time for Melissa to go. I really do. I don't think she adds anything to the show. So, that's all I have for this episode. One thing before I close out. The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Y'all, this franchise with this particular woman, their fashion is atrocious. Come on, ma'am. White boots and a lemonade dress. I feel like they are the worst dressed cast. Yeah, that's all I got for this one. It was kind of a doozy. Nothing particular really stood out. I'm looking forward to next week's episode, but what are your thoughts? Check in with me. What are your thoughts on this episode?